this is Gloria Capola from Massage Pro CE, and this is Massage School. I've created some video clips for you in order to help you master some of the techniques that maybe you've learned along the way but can't quite remember exactly how they were performed, or maybe you just need a different approach. So I hope you enjoyed these clips, and if you have any questions, please contact me, and I hope to see you at a continuing education class sometime in the future. Thank you. Welcome back to Massage School. If you've been following along on our videos, you see that we've been covering different regions of the body, and I promised you a tape on the abdominal region. That's a little more specific than we had addressed previously. This space is a very, very sacred space to me, and in many cultures considered a sacred space, and I want you to look at it that way. If you're apprehensive about coming in here, or if a client is, well, then you know what? We really have to pay attention even more how we're going to address this space. So I don't just plop my hands on the body, because the body actually begins up in here in the etheric field. So I want to come in real slow. I watch how they breathe. And I'm going to bring my hand in gently and slowly. And they can begin to tune into me being in this space. And I want their inhalation as their belly rises to actually meet my hand instead of me pushing my hand down on them. Makes it easier for them to receive you into the space. I'm just going to place my hand there for a little while and allow for my client to just get comfortable with somebody being in a space that maybe they've never had touched by somebody else. And I'm going to breathe with them. Now, in a lot of cultures, like in the Mayans and the Hawaiians and all, in Thai massage, the abdominal region is where we do a lot of focus of our work, because we believe that not only is this the center of all life, but is the center of where most of your major organs are. And really important for us to address that if we want to bring the body back into homeostasis and balance. So if your client has back pains or anything else going on in their back region, tremendously important to address this space. If they have digestive problems, if they have hips that are out of alignment, if they have breathing difficulty, many, many things could be helped to clear out while you're working in this region. The other thing too is, as we're doing our massage and, we're flushing things through the body, we're moving those toxins around, as we say, we want to make sure that we also help the whole system aid those toxins for release, and this is where they get released through our whole dumping station. So now that he's had a chance to connect with me here, as he exhales, I'm going to actually follow him in a little bit and see how much he'll receive me into his body. And just sink in until you kind of feel that barrier. And I'm going to hold that compression as he continues to breathe in. And as he exhales, I'm going to see if he'll receive me in further. Notice the words I'm using, receive. I want him to bring me into his body, not me push through. So I'm going to do that for 3 cycles. On the 4th one, as he inhales, I'm going to just let him take me out of his body, and my hand rises out. Okay? Next, I'm going to come up to the diaphragm right here underneath the xiphoid process. Some people call this the solar plexus. And I'm going to take my hand here, and as he exhales, I'm going to sink in and glide down. I'm going to stop right by the transverse colon. So for those that work with chakra systems, you can see we were by 2nd and 3rd chakra, through the diaphragm region, right down, up to the transverse colon. Now I want to open up this space here. So I'm getting different regions open before we actually go more specific. Take your fingers, glide under the ribs, either with a few fingers or with one, and just get them used to being in that space. I often find when clients stand up, they'll tell me they feel taller, they feel like they can breathe better, they feel the tension off their erector spinae is not, holding on, and it feels much better. They feel like they're living in their body again. Those that have digestive problems, such as maybe some constipation and stuff, they'll go home and they'll have a wonderful bowel movement and tell me next time, you know what? I don't have constipation anymore. I'm going to come around in a circular movement and just begin to engage with the region above the colon. Now I noticed with my client he has some scar tissue here. So if I had to address it with some fascial release, if that is some of the problems that's giving him his low back problems that you mentioned earlier, then we might even go in there and work some fascial work. Okay, so now I'm going to bring my hands back underneath the ribs here, right next to the xiphoid process, not on it, in the diaphragm region. I'm going to work with his breath. As he exhales, I'm going to take my thumb, sink down and up underneath that rib if I can get there. I'm going to hold that for a cycle of breath. Good. I'm going to begin to glide down and through. Nice contact. Yeah, a little tender in there. Okay. So we're on the ridge of where the liver is stored underneath this cavity. And again, I sink in on the breath. Wait for another breath. Begin to glide through. And notice that he's squinching a little bit. So right in this space, he has a little tenderness. So I'm going to come back in here. A little bit lighter this time. I'm just going to hold that space a little bit. Really tender, huh? Mm-hmm. Okay. Better now with the pressure?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm just going to hold her for about 8 to 10 seconds and see if he gets some release. How are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's got a good response. And we're going to come through here. And back up. And one more time. Nice deep breath in. Exhale, get in right in that space there, maybe a little deeper this time. Now I'm going to do a little bit of cross friction right along those fibers, right up underneath that rib or at the edge of it, wherever they let me in. Doing okay?
Radiating up to
Radiating up into his traps. When I learned this work years ago, my mentor was doing this on actually a colleague of mine who had raised shoulders. She was a woman who was large-breasted as well, so everything was pulling forward. When he got up in here, just like you told me, she felt it up into her traps. When he was done with the treatment, her traps actually dropped down, her shoulders dropped down, and she didn't have them up around her ears anymore. So you can see again how everything is connected and why this is important to release when your clients have upper back or lower back problems. Postural distortions. Oh, there we found another spot. We're a little bit deeper than we were before, but we found another spot. So we're going to hold that, wait for the release. Now, you can have your client sit on a chair at home, put their fingers up underneath the rib cage, take a nice deep breath, bring their body forward, and allow for those fingers to get under the rib cage and begin to open those spaces. It's always a self-care tip I like to give them when I find all this is, tight or congested in there, so that they don't wait till the next time they see you to have you, clear it out and think the miracle is going to happen in an hour. Okay? So it's good to give them self-care tips. We could do that on this other side. Make sure we clear this out equally. Okay? Then we're going to come up through the sides here, and we're going to just pull through these ribs. Bring everything forward. Got a little bit of compression going on here. Tender?
Not really.
Not really? Now I'm going to demonstrate from this side. However, I usually do it across the body, but so that you can see what's happening. Same thing we did here. I'm in the diaphragm region. On the exhale, see how I get up right up in here? Here's his rib. On the next breath, I'm going to kind of glide through, keep that connection, see? Pad of my thumb is right underneath that rib. A little tender in some spots?
Not at all.
Not as bad as the other side? Good. Come back again, up through here, come under, glide through again, come back again, and then we can do a little bit of that cross friction. So we want to repeat each one of these techniques a few times. If we find a trigger point, we're going to hold, wait for the release. We're going to check in with our client to see if they have any referral pattern like he shared with us before. And really get a nice, good clearing all underneath this rib cage. And because we have organs through here, we have a lot of fascia in here that holds this together. So it's going to be important that you clear this out so you make room in that connective tissue. Okay? So now we're going to make believe that we did a full treatment, 2 to 3 passes on each side. I'm going to come in on the side again here. I'm going to begin to sink in. See, I'm sinking in. And before I get to the colon, I want to stop into this fascia space. I'm going to stretch this open. How's that feel?
That's fine.
That's fine. A little too much? Okay, I'm going to come up around this hip, and I'm going to stretch. And we know we have our psoas in there too, which can also be contributing to low back pain and hips that get out of alignment. Doing okay? Okay, I'm going to do it again. Nice deep breath in. Work with them on their breath. On the exhalation, sink in as far as they will let you go. A little tight in there?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, remember, we've got the quadratus lumborum. That's a deep abdominal muscle. We tried to address it with our client in the posterior position in a different video. We had a little problem getting in there. So we're in that same kind of space we were before, where he was tight. And we're going to try to open it and access it from this space to clear it out. Once we get all that cleared out on both sides, then we can start coming in closer to the ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, and down. So often I find that students are afraid to get actually in this region, and they're working really light through the muscle and tissue and adipose tissue above it. So after you do that, you really want to get a connection on top of that colon. You okay? Mm-hmm. You take the pads of your thumbs, and we're going to kind of pump and roll. I'm also feeling for blockages that might be in the colon, where I might have to hang out a little bit, maybe do some vibration moves, tender in there. You okay? And this technique I'm going to take all the way around through here, down the ascending colon, and repeat that. Now, if a client tells me they're constipated on a regular basis, I make sure I always clear descending first to create room, then come through here and around. Okay? And because we're doing a lot of intense work, each time I go into a section, I want to make sure I just spend a little bit of time with some light techniques. And very often I'll just stop and pause after each section to give them a chance to assimilate the information. So, try these techniques, see how they help your client. Lots more that can be learned in abdominal work still, but this is a start. And if clients are experiencing pain in their low back, or having problems in their digestive tract, or having problems with breathing, you're going to see that this is going to help them, and they're going to want it again. Thank you for joining us today.